It's another week into the 100, and let's take a look at what happened in the week gone by in this newest competition on the outside view presented by Fasten Up. First up, let's talk something that is topicalish. The Oval Invincibles unit, 3 overseas players for each side, but only one of them is being played for Oval Invincibles. Ananya, no Marizan Kapp, no Shabnim Ismail. A bit of a problem there, you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely when you look at the scorecard and you don't see the names of Marizan Kapp and Shabnam Ismail, two of the best bowlers in the world, one of the best all-rounders in the world. I mean, you'd think that, I think, this Oval Invincible side is going to be a bit of a pushover, that it's going to be easy to score lots of runs against them because that's 40 balls that, the opposition can capitalize on. But, to their credit, the Invincibles have found a way. Dane van Niekerk has really captained beautifully. I think she's, found a way to inspire her charges. And, again, we come to, I think, one of the talks of the tournament. In the first week, Alice Capsey came in, scored a half century in her first innings at Lord's. She's come in the absence of 2 internationals and stepped up and taken the new ball, done very, very well with the ball. And it's made everyone question, can this Capsey kid do everything? She bats, she bowls, she fields very well. So come in, gotten, 4 wickets and bowled very, very difficult overs. So, I think she's kind of surprisingly a 16-year-old is covering for 2, internationals who've been around the circuit for more than a decade and done a lot at the international level. And the 16-year-olds coming in and she's all like, what's the big deal? So what if we don't have them? I can do this as well. So, Capsey has definitely stood out for the Oval Invincibles. So speaking of Alice Capsey, I think that moves us nicely into my pick for the best match of the week, which involves Oval Invincibles again. And Alice Capsey was a central figure for Oval Invincibles. It was the game against Northern Superchargers. Capsey opened the bowling for the first time, Invincibles without their 2 internationals. She opened the bowling, took 2 for 9, did very, very good job with the ball. And Oval Invincibles surprisingly managed to restrict a strong batting lineup to 109. But unfortunately, they just weren't able to chase it down. Alice Davidson Richards for Northern Superchargers came in and bowled superbly towards the death, and Invincibles fell short of what should have been a comfortable chase by 4 runs. So that was my pick for the best match of the week. Do you have any other contenders, you think?
I think that could be the best match, but like, we are Indians and that is one game that was almost bowler friendly. That was all about bowlers doing well for them, the sub 110 run total game. So that is probably the best one, but the game that comes close second is that London Spirit versus Northern Superchargers. Superchargers posted 126. Once again, Jemima Rodriguez starring with a 57. London Spirit had no business to kind of chase it down, given the way they were placed at the halfway mark at various points in that chase. But you never discount Deandra Dottin, do you? She played a wonderful knock. Her first 50 in the 100 helped London Spirit chase the total down. So that is my pick for the best match. But I'm sure I agree with your pick for the best one. So I'll keep this as the second best pick for the best match of the week gone by. Let's move on to the top performers of this week. A lot of contenders there. Dane van Niekerk from Oval Invincibles. There's Sammy Joe Johnson and as well. Farrant has done well. Everyone, there are so many picks. Which one do you want to talk about, Ananya? Because as I said, we are almost spoiled for choices.
I feel like, surprisingly, this week feels like the week of the Oval Invincibles, even though they didn't have a very, very good week. But, you mentioned Dane van Niekerk. I feel like she's, been the pillar of that Invincibles batting lineup, scored over 100 runs. I think she's the 3rd highest run getter so far in the tournament. And she's been an exceptional nick. But for me, just keep flying the team pacer flag. I think Natasha Farrant has been my top performer of the week. 11 wickets, kind of leading that attack without the likes of Ismail and Kapp. And we keep, mentioning that absence, but it's a huge one. And I think Farrant has really stepped up and taken the leadership role quite beautifully, vice captain of that Invincible side as well. So, for me, she would be my top performer. Maybe a close second would be Van Niekerk. And of course, there is Sammy Jo Johnson, the highest wicket taker. So you can't not mention her. But I think just the circumstances of her performance, Farrant takes the cake for me. But, I'm intrigued to hear what you have to say. Who's your pick this time?
I can't disagree with what you've gone with those three names, but I might just throw in an Amanda Jade Wellington in the mix for her wickets, of course, but also for those directed that she got through her fielding. So these, as I mean, very well the top performers of the week. If we talk about week gone by, let's take a look at that points table once again. Manchester Originals, they finally managed to stop their run of losses, their first win against Southern Brave, who kind of stopped winning, we can say, because that was their first loss in this week in the 100. They're of course at the top, Southern Brave and Birmingham Phoenix at the bottom. Right, let's move on. Let's talk about the disappointments of the week. We are going to talk about two players who over the years played for same team, be it for the national side or for the franchisee or the leagues around the world. We are talking about Catherine and Sarah Bryce. Ananya, how have teams used them? Of course, Trent Rockets and Oval Invincibles. Do you think that's been the right way?
Well, honestly, I just feel like, and I tweeted about this as well, that it feels like the teams have forgotten that the Bryces are part of their lineups. I mean, I know Sarah Bryce did bat number 4 in that game that I mentioned, and she didn't quite bat at the pace that was required in that game, but there's just so much ability, not just in her, but her sister Catherine as well. We've seen her bowling very, very well. I think, just the swing that she's getting first up. But I think the biggest disappointment for me is that she hasn't quite batted yet. We haven't seen her up the order where she bats for Scotland. She bats for Lightning as well. And she has the power. She has the ability to clear the field and score at a fair clip. So I'm just surprised that, she hasn't found her way at least into the top 6, you'd think that maybe she'd bat in the top 4 or 5, but even the top 7, it's been, they haven't quite used her very well. So yeah, I think that's the biggest disappointment for me, just to see both of them not quite get an opportunity to show their ability to shine. So yeah, biggest disappointment for me would be, the way the teams have used them.
Right then, what's in store for the upcoming week? It's, remember, the second last week of this competition, the 100, and 2 fixtures that I think we must look out for is first the Trent Rockets versus Oval Invincibles. It's against the Bryce sisters battle, which is on Sunday, the 8th of August. And the second fixture could be another interesting contest between London Spirit and Manchester Originals. Kate Cross versus Heather Knight, essentially. These are 2 competitions. These are 2 clashes that I'm looking forward to. Let us know what you are looking forward to. And Ananya, what do you expect in the upcoming week?
Well, first of all, I think, there's a bit of a traffic jam in that table. If you look at it, Southern Brave are kind of in the lead. Then you have a bunch of teams that are kind of pushing their way up top. So for me, I feel like this week could be the moving week, could be the week that we see, one of the teams maybe break away and kind of seal their place in that top 3. So towards the end of the week, starting Thursday, we will see the start of the return fixtures. Begins with the Northern Superchargers versus Manchester Originals, and then it trickles into the weekend, those return fixtures. The Superchargers, like I mentioned, Invincibles, Rockets, they're trying to hold Southern Brave back, but I think those 2 fixtures that the Brave have this week, if they win them, they could just seal their place in that final 3, and that's something that, Northern Spirit, who have found a bit of form, could they make a late charge? There's so many questions going into week 3, and a lot for us to look forward to. So that's it from us on this episode of The Outside View presented by Fasten Up. We'll catch you next week with more analysis and a review of the performances from the first edition of the 100. See you next time.